Hello and welcome to the One People Show.
Welcome everyone to this week's One People Roundtable Show. I'm kind of by myself right now. I've lost Lisa. Don't know where to find her. Lots and lots of shit going on all over the place. If you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel, you may have seen that I put out a Transpacific News show for the first time in months. Earlier today. So yeah, very, very interesting. Moksha, what haven't I been researching? I have been down so many freaking rabbit holes in the last 2 weeks. History. History's a big one for me right now. And more than history, like kind of trying to piece together these little pieces, especially we're looking at the 1900s, because I mean that was kind of like a real quintessential change over time for all of us, for all of our history. How everything is up for question now. Everything was up for question. I posted in the Unfuckers room an article in RT, it was in the Russian area of the news section, got no kind of coverage, if you will, about how the Communist Party of Russia, I'm not even sure, and it sounded like there's multiple of them, but a Communist Party in Russia is trying to get a law passed in Russia that to even question the Bolshevik Revolution should be a criminal charge. Oh, you know, kind of like all the laws that we've talked about, that, you know, you can't question the Holocaust, like new laws that are coming into Europe now that you cannot even question the Holocaust, the Second World War, the Hitler, Nazis. You must not question it at all, and you can be thrown in jail if you do. New laws all over Europe. But then this one comes up. And it's interesting because that article was posted a week after I had been digging down the rabbit hole of the Bolshevik Revolution. And you sit there and go, oh, really? Something tells me that I'm on the right pathway then. Like when news articles come up on random shit like that. Yeah, in the 1900s, Norm, you're absolutely right, was some of the worst fuckery of the world. No, it didn't originate from the USA though. It didn't. You have to look deeper than that. It's manifesting out from some of the most bizarre places that are coming up. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Mad Tom. I love you. Always getting me the links. Yeah, communists vow to fight falsification of history. Falsification of history. That's what they call it. Oh, someone put it in the Unfuckers room today. What do they call that now? The new lies are now called the alternative truth. Was that it? I giggled. Lies, the new term for lies is alternative truth. And that describes mainstream media. And I'm telling you, I kind of thought maybe there was a little tiny chance, just tiny chance, that with the mainstream media getting so harshly called out from several sides recently, that perhaps maybe there was a chance there'd be a little bit more neutral reporting on this last week. Yeah, no. It was crazy. I literally, the out and out lies, the bullshit. I mean, it was, every time I opened up the computer and looked, it was just like, what? I can't believe they're talking like this. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Worse than ever. Yes, worse than fucking ever. ridiculous stuff. Like, now everyone knows, as I said on Conspicuous News today, everyone knows I'm not a Trump supporter, right? Not even slightly. But I will call it where I call it. So when they're showing pictures on CNN of the inauguration and all the big, long, sweeping, what is it they call that? That big area in front of the White House that goes down towards the other big place, whatever you call it. See, I'm not American. I'm not up on this shit. The mall, there we go, the mall, the National Mall. And they showed, like, it was all half empty. You could see all the big white ground cover that had been put down to protect the grass. And they showing this guy, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, you know, Trump threw an inauguration and no one showed up. But this is so easy to refute. Like, how would you, it blows my mind that they even try to perpetuate that. Because there's, how, you know, 400,000 people there, all with cameras, all with cell phones, taking video footage that is all going to be uploaded. That's going to show that they're lying, yet they did it anyway. The lies were so extremely stupid as to be just asinine, just completely fucking asinine. Yeah, the whole world is going mad. I literally think that, well, we've talked about it here on the show a lot, that it's kind of like as the matrix is breaking apart and the programs are breaking apart, the people who are inside the programs or under the programs or under the control of the programs are also breaking apart. And we've talked about it, and we've said, like, it's like you're watching people literally fall apart. We talked about, of course, Hillary back in like August, September and all that. Literally, like, what the hell? But it's like, in the public, I'm watching people lose their shit. Completely lose their shit. Now, I'm going to say, last week, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Energetically, it was an insane fucking week. Now, I don't know if you talk about, okay, we talk about the mass consciousness of the planet. And we talk about how they've proven scientifically that on 9/11, the huge outcry and the fear and the anger of so many millions, if not billions of people over the Twin Towers, etc., the terrorists, was such that it affected, they were able to measure the change in frequencies of the planet due to that. So I don't know if last week was a lead up to all of the insanity of the inauguration, because it was, for me, Friday afternoon. So I'm 6 hours ahead of Eastern. I'm in Central European time. So 6 hours ahead of Eastern time zone. 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, everything started to calm completely down for me personally. But the whole week was nuts. And I saw it in my kids. I saw it in the animals, like the dogs, cats in the neighborhood, people online. And I don't just mean the political shit, like people got really, really like this last week and still are. But there was a decided feeling of mass, almost desperation. Like a desperation, like in depression, and really, really heavy. It was really heavy. And then it broke. For me, I felt it break on Friday afternoon, and it was like, poof, oh, okay. And it was like it was turned off. I'm trying to keep up with everyone and you guys in the chat room, because you guys are seriously going right off. Now, we had interesting stuff as far as, like, for example, the Schumann resonance went off this weekend again. Total spike in the Schumann resonance. What was it? What was all that shit? What was it being helped along by, you know, EMFs and sorry guys, I've got a serious tickle in my throat. You know, did they have HARP going? I know we got blasted with chemtrails last week, like just seriously blasted with chemtrails. And I've got the chemtrail gunk just to prove it. There's more sunspots have formed this week. Really? Okay, interesting. Yeah, but C-class solar flares are nothing. Like, they're like, I don't even take note of the C-class solar flares. They're so small. Trying to see what you guys are talking about here. Yeah, I've had a whole bunch of people sick with the chemtrails. Like, we kind of had a week's break where it wasn't that bad, and then all last week we got heavily layered again, and you can feel it. It's just like this pressure in your nose, and your sinuses are just clogged. And it's everyone I'm talking to is like, oh, I got a head cold. I'm like, no, you have chemtrailitis. That's what you've got. Yeah, so we had the earthquakes in Italy again. Now there was an 8.3 in Bougainville, which is again in that South Pacific area where you're talking about your Solomon Islands, Fiji, where we're seeing a lot of that shit going off. I don't know, man. So, and weather, did you see frickin' snow? Hold on. Snow in, oh crap. Sorry guys, my Zoom is just being completely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Just give me a second here, guys. There we go. Jeff, if you don't mind, I'm going to make you co-host. Just to have a second set of eyes. If look at my internet connection is unstable. Haha, that's funny. Jeff. Okay, Jeff, I've made you co-host because my internet's going all wackadoodle, and if that way, just so you can keep an eye on things as well. Snow in the Sahara Desert in Algeria. Not a little bit, like there was some beautiful pictures that were taken just at Christmas time of like these, so you have the deep, almost orange-red sands, and it was like this scattering of white snow, and I said it looked like kind of like a creamsicle ice cream sundae. No, it fucking snowed, as in there were areas that had a meter of snow in the frickin' Sahara. Can I tell you about how often that happens? Doesn't. And then we have people like in the States, there's warm weather. They're having, so I got several messages from people going, it's 56 degrees here. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I'm not complaining, but, right? A meter is about 3 feet. Yes, about 3 feet, Jayling. 3 feet of snow in the Sahara, like they were out tobogganing. Well, they don't have toboggans, but, you know, they were making their own toboggans up and going sledding, basically. Venice is frozen over. I believe parts of Amsterdam are frozen over. It is frigid cold. Italy is under, they got snow in Catania down in Sicily. That's just like right over there. No snow here. My protection, like my dome was like, there's no snow coming to Gozo. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Yeah, like ridiculous weather and everywhere. So, I don't know. I honestly, this whole freaking matrix is completely freaking falling apart. Completely falling apart. If the North Pole is shifted towards Siberia, it would tilt us to warmer weather, right? I've tried to figure that one out. I don't have a globe. I wish I had a physical globe that I could actually play the game of like moving it around. I've used the online various globe apps that you can get online and try to, if the pole was shifted this way and it went 20 degrees that way, how would that change the equatorial regions, etc.? It's really hard to do because they just don't like it when you try and pretend the poles are in a different spot, apparently. They don't make apps that do that. But yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, so we're now past December 21st. So our days are getting longer in that northern hemisphere. Our days are getting longer, and the sun is becoming more shifting, so it's more directly overhead. What I don't understand is, why is the sun setting in the south-southeast? Not just in the southeast, but the south-southeast. And it's not like it's starting to shift back towards the east. If anything, since the 21st, it's shifted a little bit more to the south. And I know, because the same thing, I pull out the old army compass. I can take measurements and go, that ain't fucking right. Like when the moon showed up over there the other day. And I looked at it, and I look over the edge of my balcony, and when I look directly down the edge of my balcony, it's south. And the sun is just a hair off of south. I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. But, you know, climate change is all caused by cars and factories. CO2, so everyone stop exhaling, because you're causing the climate to change. You know, let alone the fact that when Mount Etna blew this summer, it blew more CO2 into the atmosphere in 24-hour period than the entire planet produces in a year. But you know, climate change is man-made. Which I have to say, of all the shit with Trump, so of course, like I said, in Transpacific News today, we talked about, they're talking that he's going to take the US out of the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and out of the UN, and he's going to renegotiate NAFTA, all these type of things, right? Which is, like I said, all remains to be seen. Seriously, it all remains to be seen. There's two sides to that coin. But the one thing is his stance on climate change. Then him saying climate change is a crock of shit, doesn't exist. Well, I mean, you know, the climate has changed. Very obviously, the climate has changed, but it's not man-made. Because if there is, then obviously there's an overpopulation and car problem on Mars and Jupiter. Now, unless they're telling us or not telling us something, I don't know. I am in timeline. I'm in Central Europe, so it's 10:30 at night for me. Yeah, so I mean, he's made statements. Trump has made statements about this whole climate change, and people were freaking out. Oh my God! As soon as he took over the White House, within like an hour, climate change was removed off the White House website, and all that. And I'm like, oh, but hey, that's okay. I actually agree with this. Perfect. Maybe he'll do something. And I guess he made some statement against the Paris Accords. And I'm like, yay! At least he's right about that. He's got that piece right. You know, better than some things. The vaccine stuff, well, we'll wait and see. I don't know what he's going to come up with. Now, is he serious and seriously anti-vaccine? Is he going to go toe-to-toe with Big Pharma over the vaccine stuff? Remains to be seen. We can hope so. I mean, I'm sorry, but that might be worth it all right there if he's in power, and if the only one good thing he does is deal with climate change and vaccines. I'm going to call that a win. Of course, I have a very skewed perception of a win, but to me, that's kind of a win. So there was lots of rumors and that kind of stuff. But the thing is do we have anything conclusive? We all know that when you can't, anything a politician says while they're in the race for office basically is void and null. You just forget every promise that they've made. Basically, the only thing that matters is what they do once they're in the office. So, I mean, they can say he's going to leave the United Nations and he's going to build a wall between Mexico and California, and he's going to do all these things, but it all depends on what he actually does. And yes, I commented on that, the Obama Foundation. The Obama Foundation, if you don't know, the Clinton Foundation has gone down the toilet. But now you have the Obama Foundation to take over, which I still want to know the legalities on that, because I had a lot of American friends who all went, wait a second, isn't that illegal? Doesn't he have to be out of office for a certain amount of time before he can do this kind of shit? So anyways, I got sent the link to the Obama Foundation yesterday, pulled it up, saw it, took a screenshot, thank God. And went today when I was setting up the news story, first thing this morning, I was like, oh, it's gone. I got a 404 error. And I was like, oh, but it's back. It is back now. It is back now. Yes. So, yeah, some of the stuff we talked about last week, we were talking about things like the pole shifting and stuff. And I was just in the middle of reading an interesting piece by a guy I've been kind of sort of reading his stuff on and off for, pardon me, about 3 years. His name is Valiant. Interesting. You can really only find, I don't even know if he has a website. The only place you can really find his stuff is on Rumor Mill News, I think. And if anyone has a website where his stuff is actually published properly, maybe you can drop it in the chat. And he writes very interesting. He's an artist, and a lot of the stuff that he writes about comes from dreams and dream work that he kind of turns into a story, if you will. And apparently he was talking, I haven't had a chance to really finish it, but apparently he was talking about pole shifting. And again, there's a lot of different things coming up about this. Going back to the whole conversation we had last week about magnetics. It's a huge pain for me. Too many things are coming up talking about magnetics. Even, like I say, the physical placement of Arctic and the Antarctic, why are there so many fucking questions about what's going on there? We have the weather changes. We have, now, look, it could totally be that we're on an infinite plane and it is completely a holodeck matrix construct, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And perhaps with the matrix falling apart, that's why the magnetics are kind of all off in the North Pole, South Pole, and all of this, and the weather, and we're getting weird ground lightning, etc. You can, you know, maybe say that that's what it is, but the reality of it is we don't know. And when I see the physical evidence, I have to look at the physical side of it first before I look at the energetic side of it. And this whole thing with magnetic resonance, and magnets do, absolutely, Tracy. Magnets affect computers, i.e. simulations. You wipe a big, strong magnet across your hard drive, you're fucked. So if we're talking about magnetics, and we're talking about computer simulation, take it to the real basics. Computer simulation, is that the data? Are the magnetics? Does that then infer that there is actually a lack of words, physical structure that this computer simulation is based upon? And that the physical structure that this simulation or hologram or matrix is based upon actually has its own magnetic fields, and it's those magnetic fields that are taking down the matrix, literally wiping out pieces of data. No, exactly. Okay, but okay, Carl just put a very good important point. Magnetic fields will only disrupt the storage of computer data, not a running computer with data in RAM. Right, but we're talking about storage of computer data. Now look at the Mandela effect. The changes that we've seen in the Mandela effect, would we not classify that as perfect examples of storage of computer data? Where all of a sudden, it's all kind of all over the place? So that's one of my questions I've been kind of thinking about lately. The question of magnetics and magnetic fields and the coinciding electrical fields, because you can't have one without the other. There's something to this, and I think this is one of the main reasons why every time that these people bring up the flat Earth, sphere Earth, and the big blow up argument that happens with it, and my gut reaction is like, no, you guys are like, you're trying to put things into black and white, into this, compartmentalize it into this, it's this or this, it's one or the other. But what if, again, like I said, this simulation, this hologram, this matrix, whatever you want to call this fuckery that we're stuck in at the moment, does have a physicality that would have its own fields, electrical fields, magnetic fields, plasma, and the shifts of those could very well be causing the breakdown of the matrix. I don't know. It's been something that's been kind of in my head a lot just recently, and I still can't thank you enough for bringing out that homeopathic information last week. I went through the entire list of the homeopathics for the North Pole, South Pole stuff, and I was like highlighting with a highlighter going, okay, well this, but this and this, and crossing it over. And Lisa sent me a picture, and by the way, Lisa is running around here somewhere, just so you know. She'll be joining us very shortly. Lisa sent me a picture, and I've seen the picture before, and I wish I knew where I found it. So we see the pictures of the magnetic pause and the magnetosphere, right? And we see, or the magnetic field, so you see, okay, they show you the picture of the Earth, and then you see the pole top. Well, we go like this, we'll say, you know, top, bottom, and then you see this nice smooth toroidal shape of the North and South Pole. And there's a picture that shows the fields completely fucked. And I mean fucked, as in it's like north, south, north, south, north, south, south, and they're jumping, the magnetic lines are like this over the planet. And that's what it fucking feels like right now. And it feels like, I don't have the picture, Maria, I fucking, hold on. Give me a second. Fuck it, I'll find the picture. I don't know where the hell it is. Fuck, if it's on Skype, I don't want to open Skype. Okay, hold on. If I go here and I go here, I find Lisa. Where's Lisa? I might. If I can scroll back, I'm hoping it is in here. Just give me a second. No, not that. No, not that. Damn, I think she sent it to me on Skype. Oh no, here it is. I got it. I got it. Okay, hold on, guys. I will screen share with you if I can find Zoom again. Here we go. Okay, screen share. Here is the picture. So here you can see you kind of the more normal north-south. So when everything is quasi-normal, and you always get fluctuations. There's always fluctuations in the field. It's never perfectly north-south, right? Then there's the picture, and the second one here, the one on the right, it shows you basically during a magnetic reversal. Now, I'm assuming this is a hypothesis, right? Seeing as we're not supposed to have had one of those for like hundreds of thousands of years or millions or whatever the new number is they're throwing out. But you see this clusterfuck. Now, imagine you're a human. Imagine you're a human and you have a magnetic field and you have an electrical field, right? And your field, and as I got into this last week a bit, ours is the weaker field, purportedly, scientifically speaking, the weaker field to the planetary magnetic field. Our field would be controlled by, if you will, the planetary field, i.e. if North Pole and South Pole, then therefore our own magnetic field would align to that naturally as the weaker magnetic field. And we can get into that discussion about which one's weaker later. Now imagine you go through your life and it's, you know, let's say South Pole, North Pole, depending on how you want to look at it. And you go through your whole life. And let's imagine now that all of a sudden the magnetics of the planet are doing this over here. And they're all over the fucking place. Can you imagine what that does to your own body? Can you imagine what that does to physically how you're going to deal with this? So I have a hypothesis, and I wish we had, I don't know, if we have a chiropractor in the house or an osteopath or someone who's got any experience in magnetics. What if, let's say, oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's say, as above, so below. Let's say that our body mimics the fields, etc., of the planet, whatever we're on. North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole on the planet, etc., all lined up, all nicely. Now let's say that the planetary poles start getting fucked up, like in the second picture. That I would think could be mirrored in us. So what if certain magnetic points, now we know there's certain magnetic points on the planet that are strong, right? And we've got a couple of really good people who've done a lot of work on this kind of stuff. Peter, I don't know if you're here or not, some of your stuff that you've talked about, right? Hold on, we've got someone with their camera on. There we go. So if you have certain power points, let's say certain focal points, let's say, that maybe on the planet is where we could see the jumping of the fields, where all of a sudden, like in that second picture, perhaps you have certain points where it's stronger, where you get those jumps happening more often. Not just erratic, but actually, oh, Lisa's hand is up. Lisa's handed up, white. Haha. Lisa, are you trying to, oh, fuck. Hold on, I gotta try and find Lisa now. What the hell? What the hell? Jeff, can you find Lisa? Wait.
Yeah, I see her.
There she is. Lisa, you're the host now. I've made you host. Does that help? Because your hand was up, and I don't know if it helps. I don't know if she's there or not. Okay, well, we'll have to see. So if we've got certain locations that are power points, nodes, maybe they are ones where we've seen things like, you know, like the pyramids or Stonehenge or ancient sites, right? Could there be in our bodies the mirror representation of those sites? Where I'm going with this is, so for example, when we see people and people start talking about pain and all of a sudden you have, acupuncture but beyond acupuncture, right? When we see people and all of a sudden you have, no, not chakras, okay? Not even the meridians. I'm talking something that is much more foundational to our representation of reality. And I know I'm not really explaining this well, guys. I'm sorry, I'm trying to speak this out. My example is this. My shoulder is killing me. My shoulder has been killing me on and off for 6 months. I have no shoulder injury. There's no reason for it, but I have extreme pain in one shoulder. And then sometimes it'll flip to the other shoulder. And then sometimes it's like you'll see all of a sudden everyone's got a pain in their knee. You'll hear everyone talk about my knees hurt or my hips or I have a headache so bad in my left temple, and it's so bad. Parts of our back, and what I'm finding is I keep watching the Unfuckers Room, you guys, I really do. And how many people will all talk about the exact same thing at the same time? And what I'm wondering, if magnetic disturbances are happening in that picture where they're going just erratically all over the place, is our bodies mirroring that? Good morning, Lisa.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Shit happens. Shit happens. I'm trying to explain a theory that I've got brewing in my head about the magnetics and the correlation between the planet and our physical avatar, whatever you want to call these things.
The ground beneath that
water suit that we're driving around.
All right, I'll try and catch up.
Well, I just
I've been long enough to make that, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I just showed the picture you sent to me of the magnetic fields. So the one where not reversed in the reversal, and the one that it's just like ugly snarled yarn that a cat had a spastic attack in, right? And I'm commenting on the fact of, if our bodies are mimicking the magnetic fields, if the magnetic fields are jumping all over like that, then they could be having a physical representation in our own bodies. Kind of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As above, so below. But I mean specific, i.e. we could find out if we could somehow correlate this and go, when the energy, there's a flux in, let's say, Stonehenge, that's why you get a pain here, because that's the mimic point where Stonehenge would be on the planet. If you get a pain here in this part here, it's because there's been a fluctuation down in Fiji. And the mimic point on your physical body is, here, or your big toe.
If there's anybody in the room who's familiar with human design, I think human design has I think it is human design, but it has a map that correlates to the planet.
Oh, I want to see that.
One of them does. It might be human design, or I'm thinking of a completely different modality. But
well, guys, if any of you have any idea, or if you come across, like, homework, here's your homework assignment, go see if you can find any kind of design graphics that give a mirror or Earth versus the human body and the correlation points.
Yeah, there's one for chakras.
But not the chakras, because the chakras are the false ley lines. They're the false bullshit, and that's exactly what I was going to go into, because someone else said chakras. The fake ley lines of control that have been put over the planet, the power grid ley lines, right? That's what I see our chakras are. The same mimic that goes over top of us to keep it under control.
They're going away too, though.
But they are. Well, so are the fucking ley lines, and all these other fucking imaginary lines, like the Greenwich Mean Time line, they have to change. And we got to change the GPS coordinates for wherever the fuck Sydney is now.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to. I'm not awake anyway, so pointless trying. But finish your thought before I go anywhere.
Well, no, I just, the whole, ever since Anne posted that homeopathics on the North and South, it triggered me so hugely that this is a major piece. And it keeps swinging it, and it's like I go looking up something else.
There's like 4 people with their hand up.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to run this one-man show. I'm sorry. I haven't even had a cigarette. Ask them. It's been like 35 minutes since I've even had a smoke because I've been talking too much to light it. It's true.
That's a record?
It's got to be a record. I'm going to have a smoke.
Well, you have a smoke, have a break, take a breath. And I'll lower Dawn, I'll unmute Dawn. Dawn's got a hand up. Here we go. Dawn, you're up.
Oh, thank you so much. It's fascinating that you're bringing this topic up today, because I am now on a heart monitor, and I brought solar activity and cardio events to my cardio doctor today because there's extensive research on it. And 11
He said.
yes,
He said.
It's especially in Israel. In 2004, I basically died, and there was no reason for it, and they called it Harvard's death. Well, 11 years later, I'm getting these episodes again, and there's got to be something that is tying this together. And my sister-in-law and I said solar activity, because on Suspicious Observer, no, it wasn't Suspicious Observer, it was another website who said with the solar activity, there's a lot of cardio events. And my head went ding, 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 did research, and it's 11 years later, and we know that the sun, she's in her quiet period now. And so I brought this information to my doctor, and he is going to check it out. There's no reason for me to be in the condition I'm in, and now I'm on a monitor because of what's going on with my heart. So there is
what's the specific activity? What specific activity is related to the?
I think it is low or non-existent sunspots, if I'm not mistaken. And we're in a lull right now. Now, it was in 2004, and what's amazing is the research that Israel did in Tel Aviv. It was 2003 to 2006, right in the middle of when I had my episode. And it's unbelievable. And they are drawing a conclusion that the solar activity and homeostasis within the body.
Well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because, I mean, this is one of the things, and again, it comes back. Even that draws into the whole Earth as well, because we know the solar activity, the minimums and the maximums, like there are, how many storms there are, tsunamis, etc. So, again, if it affects the Earth, it's going to affect us as well.
Absolutely.
I just pulled up, Philip just posted an medical study out of Tel Aviv on this, and I've pulled it up. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will go through it, and I'll post the link with the article that goes with this. That's real. Oh, keep us informed, John.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of research on this. And then when I brought it to my cardio doctor, he was not aware of it. And I'm going, and he pointed up, and I'm going, yeah, the sun. I said, there's nothing to explain why I'm experiencing this. And so he said he would definitely research it and look into it. And there's a lot of it out there. It's very in depth, of course, and it went right over my head. But they have concluded that there is a correlation between solar activity or lack thereof and homeostasis of the human body.
Well, and this is the whole thing. Now, my question, of course, keeps going back to the whole solar activity, because it just doesn't make sense. And I talked about this last week. Theory, scientific theory, on how the Earth's poles, the magnetic poles of the sun, it doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, like I said, the sun isn't what they keep telling us it is.
Well, I was going to ask that question. So how does this relate to, are we talking about the real sun, the fake sun? Are we talking about...
Yeah.
Now, is this a, how can I put this, a healing crisis that some people don't make it through?
Well, see, I died in 2004. They had to airlift me, and I was in, and when I finally woke up 3 days later, I thought it was 1980. I mean, I was gone. All the tests, every single test, from your cardio enzymes, everything was normal. There was no reason why it happened. and then it's 11 years later and it's happening again. And isn't the sun on 11-year cycle? Isn't she right in the end or beginning of a new cycle?
Do you remember what month it was in 2004?
November. I was in the hospital during Thanksgiving.
So if this is some sort of, I mean, again, going back to the electromagnetic, if this is the construct that it is, that we've been saying it is, and it's all perhaps electromagnetic in nature, and the heart is essentially this, it's electrical. It's just
Yeah.
little.
It's an engine, right? Like it's a little motor.
I'm right in there right now. I'm inclined to feel like it's part of a healing process that perhaps the physical heart, for whatever reason, may not cope with. I wonder what you can do energetically, esoterically, metaphysically, whatever word you want to use, to get through this.
If it's, let's go back to magnetism, right? Could it be, Lisa, as simple as starting with, say, the homeopathics? Reinforcing maybe your own magnetism, calming the massive fluctuations perhaps, by using something like
an influx of purchases of North and South Pole magnetic homeopathics in the last week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, I'm going to be talking, and I'm going to be talking to you because I want to sit down and talk. I have some interesting questions on this. I'm going to play with some magnets. I have some, damn, the name's just gone right out of my head. I have some very powerful magnets because I live with a Nick, Mr. Energy Man. So I have all kinds of magnets. I got speaker magnets. I got rare earth magnets, and you name it. I'm going to play with them. I have a couple of ideas that I want to try to play with physically, just to see. So, for example, I have been getting hit. The headaches have been rampant again for the last month. And they come and they go, and usually I can work on them and make them move, and they'll go away, and then they might come back and move somewhere else. Yeah, neodymium, that's what we've got. Those are the strong ones I have, is the neodymium ones. And those are like, you can pinch your finger between them. There's that powerful. They've got 1.5 kilos of pull between two of them. That's how much they can pull together. If you attach weights to them, they can pull up 1.5 kilos. So I may not start with the really, really powerful ones. I may work my way up to that. But I want to see if headache, if I can work on the time period. And that's the other thing for me. It's like a time period between 10 o'clock in the morning and about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon is when the headaches are the worst. And it's daily now, daily at that time of day. So I just want to see. I'm going to play. Oh, I just going to play, like, test it out on myself and see what I can do.
That's something too. People who are getting headaches. Have you got much amalgam in your mouth?
I have none. I've never had a filling in my life. I refuse to have one.
Any chance you've got heavy metals in your body from anything else? Vaccines? Water?
Vaccines, I was fully vaccinated. Not properly. I never ever kept up with it. I remember getting forced to have vaccines when Gabriel was born 25 years ago. And then I didn't have another one until when in the military. And of course, in the military, they fucking inject you with fucking everything you can possibly imagine. But that's 18 years ago. And I haven't had, obviously, anything since then. Could it be heavy metals? Maybe. There's a lot of ways to absorb heavy metals, though, right?
Well, the distilled water helps get rid of the heavy metals.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find distilled water. here. Trust me. I need to get a distance.
I'm just wondering if there's a correlation between metals in the body and having some of the more dramatic effects.
I don't know. No,
caused by magnets.
Okay, for example, Nick has worked with metals for years. He worked in a specialty design company where he was in a massive factory building where they were welding, cutting, brazing, you name it, aluminum, fucking iron, stainless, specialty metals, all the time. And he hardly ever wore a mask because obviously if you're working in hot summer conditions, having a mask on is impossible to breathe. So you would think that he would be, and he says himself, he has to be saturated in heavy metals. He doesn't have anywhere near the headaches I do. I've actually gone through that kind of in my own head. I don't know. But again, it could be a specific metal, right? It doesn't have to be just heavy metals in general. Could it be something very specific? Or my other thought is we all have sensitivities, right? Some people are more sensitive to gluten. Some people are more sensitive to pesticides. Some people can't even take an aspirin without hallucinating, right? Is it a matter that some people
that's me.
are more sensitive to magnetic fluctuations? I don't know. In the same way that some people are sensitive to energy fields. Some people can see auras. Some people, like, I'm just wondering, is it one of those things where maybe certain people are more sensitive to the fluctuations in the magnetic fields?
Okay.
I don't know, darling. I don't know.
What else? But Dawn, thank you for sharing and keep us posted on how you're going.
Yes, please.
We've got another Dawn.
Oh, sorry. Am I unmuted? Oh, hi.
You are now.
Yeah, I'm going to work with Peter on a project. I'm kind of excited about it. I can just imagine here, just because I know about that AIM program, obviously. So, maybe we can take it to another level. Who knows? I mean, I'm open. I've been kind of waiting for the moment.
So last week you talked about the rifle machine. So have you pulled it out today?
No, I hadn't pulled it out yet.
Oh, I'm disappointed, Dawn. I thought for sure you would have at least pulled it out.
The problem is I got hit with a bunch of energies this weekend that knocked me to my ass. I started having hot flashes like I did in the very beginning. Like they were so massive. And I literally had to take a Soma last night and knock myself out. It was awful. And I thought, I feel like I just got harvested. That's how I felt. I was just like, this is really sucking. So today, obviously I slept like a rock. So now I'm up. I feel better. But, I don't know, y'all. It knocked me down. So anyway, I'm up. I'm going to pull it out, I promise. It's just, I need somebody to partner with me because I've never felt comfortable with it. So Peter seems like he knows what he's doing.
A little more knowledge to help you play with it.
Yeah, Peter seems like he knows what he's doing, and that makes me feel better because normally I go hang out with people that are smarter than me, so I learn, That's kind of my thing. I just haven't had anybody around here or even want to reach out to me, So, yeah, I'd rather it be an unfucker, that makes it perfect, right?
Listen, you know what? I've had this overwhelming thing this weekend. We need Unfucker Island.
So badly. I bought some tickets hoping we went.
Oh, it's like, when we talk and we joke, we've joked about Unfucker Island now for what, at least a year? Over a year now we've been making this joke. And just so many situations that are going on with various unfuckers. And so many, when you're just like, I wish I could help you. I could so help you. If you live next door, I could so help you, but I can't because I'm on the other side of the fucking pond. And, And I just overwhelmingly all weekends I've been like, we need fucking Unfuckers Island. Or Unfucker Village at the very least. Something.
I need more coffee. I'll be back.
You make coffee. You make coffee. Yeah, this whole magnetics thing. If you guys come across anything, because I know the chat's going like this, so you guys may have actually already posted something, links. Send them to me on Facebook too if you find anything to do with planet and magnetics and a relationship to the physical body. It's really, I have this feeling, it's just a really like a big feeling that somehow that we could find a correlation, you know? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, guys, we need Unfucker Island so badly. I mean, just literally, I've had so many people I've answered messages from who've needed help with either like health advice or healing advice, and I just think, you know, if I could just come over to your house and I could literally help people, just so much easier. But when I'm like here on this little tiny island, it's literally that fucking big, and I'm way the fuck away. Yeah, it kind of sucks. But yeah, you know, there's so many projects. We've got so many amazing people who got so many great ideas that I would, yeah, just love to be able to sit down around a table and bang it all out. Do you know what I mean? Like, just be able to like get together and be like, okay, well, I've got this piece of the puzzle and I know this kind of stuff and you know this stuff and he knows this stuff and she knows that stuff and we can all bring it together and do stuff, right? Yeah, I know. I'm just crazy. I'm just crazy. What can I tell you? Listen, I had a big joke with a friend of mine many years ago in my Dinar Intel days, and he was like, he already planned out what he was doing with his Dinar money, you know, when the RV happened, and he found a town in California that he was going to buy. It was an entire town for sale in California, and it had enough houses to populate like 500-600 people, and the entire town was for sale. Infrastructure, everything. And I can't remember what the price was, but the price, when you consider it was a town in the States, we're not talking about a town like in, you know, buttfuck nowhere, Ukraine, but like seriously in the States, it was like definitely a doable thing. Like it was, I don't know, maybe it was like, you know, $13 million or something like that. And you go, $13 million, you could buy a whole fucking town. Yeah, no, trust me, I don't want to go to the US either. No.
Well, I'm wondering whether this is for the same reason, but the reason I was late this morning is because for the third night in a row, I couldn't sleep before like 3 a.m. The two previous ones, it was until 4 a.m. And this is so not like me. And this is 3 nights in a row, which is incredibly unusual. But even in the last week, there's been 2 other nights. And I've almost destroyed my Netflix because I just don't know what to do with myself. So I've watched everything.
I've watched everything there is to watch. Have you watched Sherlock? It's not on Netflix. Is it on Netflix?
No, it's not on Netflix because I looked for it.
Oh, darling, go find. You can download it from Pirate Bay. You have the technology. Go watch Sherlock.
Okay.
On a totally different side note, yeah, totally aside.
But I'm wondering whether it's for the same reason. If there's a particular type of activity, solar activity going on, or whatever. But
when we've talked about this, where it kind of comes in waves, where you have like 3-4 days where all you want to do is sleep. I mean, sleep, as in you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. By 11 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh, I need a fucking nap. And you sleep for an hour or two, and then you go at 7 o'clock at night, you're ready to go back to bed again. And then
I was doing
3-4 days later, you're like midnight and you're sitting there in bed going, you know.
We went through that. Everything was happening in like 3 or 4 day phases,
Yep.
cycles. Went through that for, I don't know, a couple of months.
Mm.
And everything just changed again, and there's no schedule anymore. It's like it's all over the shop. But this business of just not being able to sleep until usually at least 4. So I've had like 3 hours maybe of sleep. If my alarm didn't go off, I slept straight through it. Because by that stage, I would have had 2 hours sleep.
Well,
So I don't know.
I just did some interesting Zoom calisthenics to be able to sign out of my account, sign into your account, make Jeff host while I sign back into my house. So okay. It was interesting. It's okay. We have the technology. We were able to get around it.
Okay, we've also got Earl. 1 second, Earl, you're unmuted.
Hey, so yeah, you were talking about all the sleeping thing. So yeah, for me, it's like for the past like several days where I couldn't like stay up late. Like I had to get in bed by 11, and usually I'm up till like late into the night. But it does that. Like there've been times where I'm like sleepy. Then a little while later, I'm wide awake. Like, whoa, wait, what the heck? Like, it's weird. All these energetics. You know, reality is, and you know how Dee talked about Unfuckers Island. Well, there's islands popping up all the time now, so you got plenty to choose from right now. I mean, it's so freaking weird. What I'm telling you, it's like I see things. Now you have like World War II video that's in color and looks just as good as the video from Vietnam looks. And I seen a picture of Lincoln in a tent at one of the battlefields, and it looks so freaking clear right now, and it's in color. I'm like, what the crap? Wait, what? No, not in my reality. No freaking way. It's like, and I came up with this theory, and like every shift, there seems to be where technology sort of gets somewhat pushed back to an earlier time. So like, I think cars were invented earlier than what they are now. And no, than what they were then, I mean. I don't know. This whole shifting thing, it hurts my head sometimes.
Is it still Ford?
Ford's logo still is the way it's been for the Mandela effect. Like, with that little curly freaking thing. Like, Ford never had that curly thing. And, okay, I have a question. I've had this feeling. I type in Canada often, like, you know. I feel like there should be another N in there. Like, I don't know. Canada just feels smaller now as a word. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We're Canadians. I mean, it doesn't feel right to me. Like,
What's wrong? Dee, you're muted. Can't you unmute? Oh.
She's become the Harper Marx of the group.
Okay.
There I
What
am.
about now?
There she is.
I haven't thought about it. Yeah, Niagara or Niagara. I grew up, it was always Niagara Falls. Niagara. Not Niagara. Whatever.
Yeah, but now Niagara Falls doesn't even look like Niagara Falls. How it used to look.
Well, I don't know. It's been 18 years. What? No, it's been 10 years since I've driven across Canada. So I don't know if Canada.
Maybe it's time to grab the house again. I'm just saying.
Okay. We've got Amber too.
Anyway, I'm done.
Thanks, Earl.
Thanks, Earl.
I can't find her.
You're gonna have to.
There we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Amber.
Yes. Hi, Amber.
I'm sorry to bring this up. I'm kind of nervous to talk about it because I'm sure that we have other things to talk about, lots and lots of other things. But about the not being able to sleep, I mean, I just had to say something about it because my mind literally can't work right because I'm literally not sleeping. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning before. And Lisa, you were talking about blowing up Netflix, you know. I'm currently on last night till 5 in the morning watching The Traveler. And so I can't seem to get to sleep, but whenever I do and I hit that dream time state, it's hard for me to wake up. And I feel so groggy and unable to like function throughout the whole day.
Yep.
So I don't know how I'm doing it right now, being up or anything, but it is literally so hard to get to sleep, and I don't know what's going on. And I just wanted to put that out there. You know, it's very difficult to get to sleep 4 or 5 in the morning. I've been going through this for about 2 weeks now. I can't tell you when the last time I actually slept was.
I'm going to suggest melatonin.
I've actually tried melatonin.
It didn't work?
And sometimes it'll help me get to sleep, but then I pop right back up and I'm still stuck.
And that's the thing with melatonin. It just helps you get to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't keep you asleep.
Right.
So it's really good for people who have an issue, like, you know, kind of just calming down. Well, Jeanette just said it keeps her awake. Everyone's metabolism is different. I take an antihistamine, I'm crawling across the ceiling. Like, I'm that freaking hyper where everyone else is knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
So, same thing with Gravol. Doesn't work for me either. Damn. That's the other one I was going to say is that was always my dad's. My dad has fought insomnia his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
He takes Gravol.
Yeah.
It just knocks him out. And when he gets to that point where it's been 3, 4, 5 days and he hasn't slept, he's like, I'm just going to take Gravol and go to bed.
Yeah, because like when Lisa started talking about that, it's just I had to say something because I've been going through that for like a week or two to where it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm blowing up Netflix, or I'm a gamer, so sometimes I'll be playing a game, you know. So, but yeah, I don't even know. My brain isn't even working.
Okay, I want to ask both of you and anyone else in the chat who's having sleep issues. Have you tried making sure you're not near the computer for like an hour or two before you go to bed and try like reading, say like reading a physical book?
Yes, I've actually tried that. I'm reading a book called Beautiful Darkness, but yeah, I would try that, but I would literally be reading chapter after chapter until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Some people it works, some people it doesn't. For me, if I was in a good book, there was nothing that was going to get me to go to sleep because I'm going to read the book until it's fucking finished, even if it's 8 o'clock the next morning. But some people, that's a lulling thing. Just the physical reading something in your hand knocks them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this is, again, that's a geomagnetic thing as well, right? I mean, it's a proven thing. During geomagnetic storms, insomnia is one of the big things that happens.
Yeah.
So again, we're looking at it could very well be something to do with magnetics.
Okay. All right. Well,
I was wondering. Sorry. Well, I was wondering whether, and I'm not trying to put a negative, scary spin on it, because I don't feel that way necessarily, but is something happening overnight that big us knows not to go to sleep because subject to something during certain hours in the night? Because why is it that it's always around the 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. that you can finally get to sleep? So what if, the dickheads who think they run this place are doing something between midnight and 4 a.m. or thereabouts, and higher self just knows, don't go to sleep yet.
Yeah. I wonder.
You've muted again. What are you doing, Dee? I'll just call you Marcel from now on. Go.
I was just saying goodnight to Quinlan. Quinlan couldn't hang it out for the whole show. She's falling asleep. So she's like, I gotta go to bed. So just say goodnight. Circadian rhythms. I read a fucking interesting article about mind in the brain waves and the pineal gland, et cetera, et cetera. This was when we were back in Restinga in Morocco. And it was a thud moment for Nick and I both when we read this. And basically it talked about almost like a reverse programming, reverse propaganda that a lot of people, the natural cycle is to be awake from, what was the times they gave? And because 4 o'clock in the morning was basically the 4 o'clock in the morning was like time to go to bed type thing. And it was like sleeping until noon, from like 4 o'clock in the morning, sleeping till noon. And then,
I remember an article
like an amazing article.
About,
it was a scientific study, this one, that had been done on consciousness and the pineal gland, and the fact that the pineal gland needs to be active during certain times, and that we needed to be awake during the night to be able to really access the pineal gland and the consciousness levels properly. And that we spend too much time in the daylight, which puts the pineal gland kind of almost like in a neutral point. Almost like, yeah, like it's almost in neutral. It's not allowing us to go forward on things.
You're reminding me of two things. One is I remember reading a similar article. It didn't mention circadian rhythms, but it talked about life prior to electricity and electric lighting. And that there was a fallacy that we used to get up, that it's a fallacy that we've always just gotten up with the sun and stayed awake all day and then gone to sleep when the sun goes down, that we actually had, I think it was 3 sleep periods throughout the whole 24-hour period. And back in the old days, that people used to be up between like 10 or 11 and 2 or 3 in the morning.
Exactly.
And there were even special places to gather at that time. People would actually go out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that. And I remember a guy doing a study.
Yes.
And he put people inside almost like a Faraday cage, but something different to that, where they were not being affected by, I think it was the Schumann resonance, and like all the external stuff was, but same thing happened. They went, their whole rhythm, their circadian rhythms changed.
Okay.
But what is it? There's a direct correlation between our personal circadian rhythms and something to do with the ground beneath our feet. What is it? It's something that directly affects it.
Remember, I'm literally racking my brain. And Tracy Laborde just said about, is there a correlation between circadian rhythms and, of course, magnetics? I.e., so let's look at, for example, even now, in Mediterranean countries, in hot countries, everyone sleeps in the afternoon. Everyone sleeps in the afternoon, right? In the northern countries, maybe not so much. But again, I'm just looking now at our modern times, like now, people. What is the accepted norm? People in North America don't nap. Yet you come down to the Mediterranean, and it's like fucking everybody naps.
Well, that's one of that article that I read went into the whole, it was quite a conspiratorial article and talked about the Industrial Revolution.
Yes, okay, this is the same article.
And how it's all part of it was a contrivance to get us to stop, to break out of our natural sleeping pattern and rhythm, and to stay awake for these chunks of 12 hours or 16-hour chunks. And
it's unnatural.
But that it is actually unnatural.
Well, there's a Canadian author, and his name is Farley Moore. He died many, many years ago, I think. And he wrote a book about the wolves. Come on, Canadians, help me. The Cry of the Wolf, something like that. And as a kid in school in Canada, Cry Wolf, there you go. As a kid in Canada, you always studied Farley Mott because he was a famous Canadian author. And we saw an interview with him. Our whole school went to go see him talking, and it was right after he had done the Cry of the Wolf. And he talked about he drove his wife nuts because he decided he needed to experience the wolves. And he says, wolves never sleep for 8 hours a day. They don't. They sleep for 2 hours, and then they get up and do stuff for an hour. And then they go and sleep for another 2 hours, and then they go, never cry wolf. That was it. We're all going, The Call of the Wild is another one of his books, yes. Never Cry? Anyways, Farley Mott, Cry Wolf, you can find it. He started doing cycles and living like a wolf. And he started doing this. At first, he had to, set his alarms to only sleep for 2 hours and then wake up and then go to sleep and wake up. And then his body just fell into this natural cycle where he would literally sleep for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. And then he'd get up and go do stuff for a couple hours. And then he'd come back to bed and sleep for a few more. And it made his wife completely nuts because he was up at all hours. And he said he never felt better in his entire life. And I can remember as a kid, and I was a kid, maybe 10, 11 years old when we went and saw him, and him saying he felt so energized, so just his brain was on fire. He wrote a huge amount in that time. Yeah. Interesting.
I think I remember that. I think I read that.
Never Cry Wolf. That's by Farley Mowat. There you go. It's a cute book. It's an interesting book. His stuff was kind of interesting. But
we've got a few more hands up again.
Who do we got?
We've got Dawn's back.
Oh, hey, I just put the link in right there for everybody to see. I thought it was very interesting. Hold on. Let me share the screen. I think that's it.
Pulse magnetic field therapy?
Yeah. What's going on here?
I can pull up the screen share if you want, because I've got it already loaded.
Yeah, do it, please. That'd be great.
Hold on.
For some reason,
I won't let Dawn. You've got to exit your screen share.
I'm trying to get back in, and it's not letting me. Hold on.
If you just
can't you take over the screen share?
I can't take over the screen share because I'm not co-host. Jeff is co-host.
Oh wait, stop share. I just did it. Okay, you do it now, and you can read it. I just think it's interesting.
Okay, don't want that. Here we go. Close that. So it is the altered states, enhance your life force with pulsed magnetic field therapy. Electromagnetic nature of the body. Every cell in our body consists of electrically charged particles that are either positive or negative ions. All are directly affected by exposure to external magnetic fields. Exactly. Magnetic field therapy is one of the world's oldest forms of healing. First documented references to MFT in medicine were made over 6,000 years ago. Interesting. I'm trying to scroll down. Sorry, guys. My Zoom is being glitchy. as usual. Widely used by the Greeks and the Romans, in particular the Egyptians, highly advanced cultures of Central America. Biomagnetic healing therapy is now sweeping the U.S. because it helps the body to heal itself. Used in ancient Egypt and rediscovered by NASA, for the astronauts, magnetic therapy has also been successful in providing relief for complex issues of repetitive strain injury. Repetitive strain injury? That's really, and work-related upper limb disorder. That's what I would call pain, numbness, and tingling that you just get in your fucking body all over the frickin' place. And that repetitive strain disorder is a made-up fucking term to describe, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, so I'm just going to give you this fancy name, saying, oh, it's repetitive strain. Go take some physical therapy. Here, have some, like, opiates to help with the pain. Because you got to feed big pharma, right? So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'll have to look into this. I will definitely have to take a look at it. But magnetics, I mean, there's a lot of people who get magnetic bracelets. I mean, for more motion sickness. The magnetic bracelet that you wear if you get motion sickness, and I know a lot of people who that seriously cured them of motion sickness just by wearing the magnetic bracelets. So, I mean, I have no doubt that, you know, the magnetic field stuff could definitely work. So Dawn just said the PEMF treatment, speaking of, is the Rife machine, right? So this is something to look into. So definitely look into.
We got JJ. You're unmuted.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Two things, or maybe three. The heart is the strongest magnetic generator in the body.
Yep.
By far. Now, magnetic fields generally only interact when they're changing. In other words, if it's a constant magnetic field, it can be influenced, but it's the change in magnetics that actually transfers from one field to another. So it's modulation, it's resonance fields, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is the sun, the earth, all of us, rocks, everything basically is immersed in complex magnetic fields. And the Schumann resonance is a reflection of magnetic fields, although it's specifically looking at electromagnetic. But the magnetics basically are what carries the fields, if you will. And so because of that, every cell has a very, very weak magnetic field, but the heart basically is the, what do you want to call it, the aggregation of the body's magnetic fields. The mind makes one, but it's really weak and all that kind of stuff.
It's the boss.
Yeah, the boss. It's the big kahuna. And so when the sun starts doing its magnetic pulses and it goes into quiet time and stuff, that affects the Earth's magnetic field, which then messes with the Schumann resonance, which then messes isn't the right word, but influences all the rest of us. And the sleep cycle thing, interestingly enough, I always stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning. I get up at noon, sleep, and I'm always, my most productive time is after midnight, almost every day, just because everything gets quiet and I can, do what I need to do. But I've noticed that my neighbors are having a really, really hard time sleeping, like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 hours a day, and it's driving them nuts. And this has been going on with them for a couple of months now. And I've noticed in my own sleep cycle, sometimes I don't want to go to bed at 4 or 5 or whatever. I want to keep going, but I force myself. And then there's other times where I go to bed at 4 and I just don't go to sleep. It's my mind won't shut off. It's, I just got to wait it out. And one possible, not everyone's going to react to the same, but one possible sleep remedy is indica cannabis, because that's heavy body. In other words, what it does is it influences the body to go relax, just chill. Now you get into sativa.
Or eat.
Or yeah, that'll pull the blood into your stomach and all that sort of stuff, and away from other places. But the cannabis thing, because it is so heavily body oriented, not the sativa, which is mind oriented, which will, you're not going to go to sleep under certain sativas, but with the indicas, basically because it's so heavily body oriented. I mean, that's where the term couch potato comes from. I mean, you get sucked right into the couch and you can't get up. Well, you can actively use that stuff to put yourself to sleep. But you're going to get up kind of fuzzy brained in the morning and all that kind of stuff if you overdo it. But at the same time, the idea is that there are, quote, natural remedies out there which can be used. And I think cannabis is probably one of the most effective, at least for those that it works for. And it's a matter of finding the right cannabis. Everyone's going to have a little different sensitivity to the various cannabinoids and terpenoids and flavonoids and all that kind of stuff. But when you find one that just kind of makes your eyelids just get heavy, hey, go with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, everyone's body is different. We all react differently to everything. Like I said, from gluten to red wine to what kind of cannabis you smoke or how you take it, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a trial and error for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
If I smoke, it's good night, Dani. Good night, instantaneously. And everyone jokes, all my friends used to laugh and be like, don't hand her that. Because I just like take a couple of drags and I'd be, bye. You let yourselves out when you're finished having a good time. I'm going to bed. But it doesn't make me calm. Like when I smoke, it doesn't make me go to bed. I'm very tired and I get that heavy, like you say, but it doesn't calm my brain down. So I don't sleep properly, which is why I just don't smoke anymore. I will occasionally take it as a tea. Like if I'm really, really bad, I will occasionally take some as a tea, and sometimes that works. But again, like you say, it depends on the breed.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's not random, but there's no such thing as a strict indica or strict sativa anymore. They're all hybrids.
Yeah.
And if you find one that does work well for you, it's a matter of can you find more of it.
Unless you're growing it yourself.
Yeah, there's that too. But the thing is that the finding the right mix is when you find it. I found one grown from some neighbors that was just from a medicinal point of view, it was wondrous. I mean, it was so far better than anything else I've ever tried, and now I got to try and find it again. But there are some strains that work well for some people, and others they just go nutso on it. So that's what I wanted to add.
Awesome, thanks, JJ.
Thank you. Later.
Thanks, JJ. Yes, Adele. Hang on, Adele, put your hand up, and I'll bring you out in turn. You can do that. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She had a thought. It's gone.
No, it's there, but it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, you know what? Some people chamomile tea works. My daughter, Kira, I make warm milk. And I know it's like one of those old classic British things, a cup of warm milk if you can't sleep. And I make warm milk, and I put a chamomile tea bag in the warm milk. Like as I'm warming the milk, I put a chamomile tea bag in with a sprinkle of cinnamon. It's my kid's most favorite thing, and that knocks Kira out. Like right out.
Okay.
Adele, did you want to share your screen?
Yeah, Adele's going to share her screen. Okay, these are the orbs that she's been videoing. You're unmuted too.
Oh, okay. Yes, just saw this the other day, 22nd January, ginger bar in Australia, hooked up to the sun. I've seen these orbs before, like moving about, wondering what they are. I've never seen this many before, it was crazy. Just started filming it. I only got about 43 seconds of this one. So I charged my camera, went upstairs, hooked up to the sun, and then I got about another 3 or 4, 5, 6 minute videos of them again. Never seen this before, never seen it ever again. I took heaps of video shots. Here, here's my Word screenshots, and just here are some images.
It's unusual to see them with the naked eye, for one.
Yes, naked eye, seeing them move around because I could.
And during the day.
Like Christmas beetles, and then I'd see the white orb, and some were going off in all different directions, like they had their own little missions. If you watch that video, pause it, you will see some of them like just like watching me, and then lots of them just like flying about, and for about 5 to 6 seconds, not long, in that amount of time.
Okay, your audio just went like you had the microphone down.
Sorry.
No idea what you were saying.
Sorry, not sure what you heard last. Yeah, it's some.
But you're seeing these during the day and with your naked eye.
Yes, I've seen. Last time I saw one of these with my naked eye was on the 12th of December 2015, and there was only one. And I was out putting my shower. I took a photo of it, and it watched me for about 45 minutes. I've took photos of that one for, and it moved about in position so I could take photos of it. And I've always wondered what was that. And the other day, I just thought, oh, looking at some video footage about anomalies and stuff, and decided to go back outside and have a look at the sky. Just something strange, something just drew me there. Looked up, started seeing these strange lights again. I thought, there's more than one, there's heaps. And I thought, what is that up there? And so I just started filming, and what I showed you is what I filmed, and that's just a short portion of what I captured that day. And I've tried again to see it, but
Adele, your audio is just not good, darling. Really can't. Most people can't hear
barely hear you, love.
Thank you for doing the video.
I'm just wanted to really share that and see if anyone else has seen that before. So thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
So if anyone's seen anything like that, put a comment in the YouTube videos or send us a message on Facebook.
Well, this leads into something I did want to bring up, though. Not just orbs. I want to know who's seeing strange rainbows. And I actually don't mean the rainbow that would normally be in the sky after a storm. I mean, I had a long conversation yesterday with girls who I'm sure are going to share at some point with you guys publicly. But I've got a photo. I did share with me. Hang on, I'm going to, and then I'll unmute you, dude. As soon as I find your video. Around Thanksgiving, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, this lady started seeing rainbows and realized there was something unusual around about these rainbows. They were coming from or around trees and nature and just emanating, it would seem, or around the tree. And some of them, and then she realized that they're not arced, some of them are just straight lines. And then she started seeing literally squares of rainbow, like a rainbow flag, right? And it's over recent weeks developed into seeing them coming out of people or around people. It's just specific people. So the photo I'm going to show you is she decided she's going to have to start taking photos of these things. So she was driving, saw a square rainbow flag up in the sky, took a photo of it. When she got home, she went to look for the photo and couldn't find anyone with a rainbow and realized it was the last photo on her phone, but it didn't show up as a rainbow. It showed up like this.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Now, that is not what it looked like to her naked eye at all. It looked like a square like that, a rainbow. No, it's not the sun. There's another photo that matches this that shows you where the sun is. Sun's way over here on the right, past on the other side of the tree.
Yep.
Well, what is that? And it is not how it looked, like I said, to the naked eye. So is anybody else seeing these rainbows?
Yep. I've been seeing them for, well, since that big incident that I had in 2012, 2013. And I don't see them around people, but I see them on things, or sometimes on a blank white wall I'll even see it, or I see it, especially if I'm looking in the distance. For me, I very rarely see it up close, but I see it in the distance, or I'll see it in the sky, etc. And I'm just trying to find a picture right now. I'm scooting through looking Facebook because I have almost an identical picture to what she took. Hold on.
Saw one in the chat room. Saw one horizontal between two clouds.
Yep.
Another one had another one. I have a picture of one, but it looks like the one you just showed. But this one I took in Kansas. Well, her feeling was that it looked like it was a cover for something that was going on behind. And maybe that's what the photo caught, was what's going on behind.
Yeah, I can't pull up this picture for some reason. I posted it in the Unfuckers room on the 14th or 15th of January. And it is almost identical in that the sun is definitely there. And then there's like a spot. And it's like a rainbow spot in the clouds. Well, I mean, Penny just asked, I wonder why colors don't show up like I see them. Remember that your eye and a camera's eye are two very, very different things, right? They're two very different things, and your eye is interpreting frequency. The camera is electronic. It is going to interpret it differently. So, yeah, I mean, you can see things. That's why sometimes we capture things in a camera that we can't even see with our bare eye. Or vice versa, we see something with our bare eye, but it turns out differently on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the flicker so bad for the last month. The flicker has been so bad now, where everything just kind of shivers. Haha, not shivers. Shimmers. That's the word we're looking for. Shimmers, not shivers.
Well, please post your photos if you've got them.
Yeah.
In the and I'm interested to see how many people start or have been seeing them and just haven't said anything, coming out of people. To me, that's more interesting than even what's going on in the sky. If we're all starting to emanate rainbows, I want to know about it. Do you want to come out and share anything, Robert? Has anybody else got their hand up? Yes, we've got Maria. Maria's iPhone. Which I have to mute again. Sorry, love. That was lots of feedback. And we've also got Penny. Penny, you're unmuted.
Okay, hi guys. Can you hear me?
Hi, Penny.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, my insomnia really started bad when 2017 hit. Now, I mean, I could not sleep. I've always been had some problems with insomnia, but not like this. I mean, I was wide awake, and I would stay up for like 48 hours at a time. Then when I could get to sleep, it was always between like 8, 9 a.m. and sleep till 2 p.m. Now, through this time, I would see white orbs. Taters, quit. White orbs, but not in my vision. They were under my vision. Okay? And now this is what was interesting, because I couldn't sleep in normal cycles at all. But I noticed I could sense my dreams, that I should be dreaming. I mean, they would enter my head, and I would be watching a movie, but no, I'm supposed to be dreaming right now, because they're starting to come into my mind. And
sorry, are you saying when you're awake? Are you saying when you're awake, you're kind of having a waking dream?
Yes, but it wasn't a daydream. It was literally, I knew, even my mind said, you're supposed to be dreaming right now. Okay? And I would start seeing the images of the dream in my head. But because I was awake, I couldn't focus on them. And like you, Lisa, oh my God, I have went through all my Netflix. I had to get Amazon Prime now, because I have watched all of Netflix. Every friggin' thing on there. So it's like, okay, so now I'm on Amazon Prime, but my sleep cycles are, you guys, I cannot go to sleep in my normal time.
You know, the interesting thing about that is, well, one of them, but I mean, they say that the problem with not sleeping, one of the things that causes us the biggest issues is not even that the body doesn't get the rest, it's because we don't dream. It's the dream deprivation that causes us problems. So if you're actually able to stay awake and still get the benefits of dreaming,
that's really interesting.
I wonder how long you could go, because it's not sleep deprivation that fucks us up, it's dream deprivation.
Exactly.
Yeah, the biggest problem with that is because I couldn't focus, right? Because the images would just flicker. So, and my mind would be telling me, this is supposed to be a dream. Okay, you're dreaming. You're supposed to be dreaming. And I found it odd that it was always between 4 and 6 a.m. this would happen. Okay, now if it would have been like 11 or just random 3 a.m. in the morning, then I would go, oh hey guys, this is kind of cool. But the fact it always had to happen within 5 or 4 and 6 a.m. kind of makes me wonder if it's intentionally being done.
Almost like a download time, do you mean?
Yes, exactly. It wouldn't happen at 8 in the morning, even though I'm still up, right? No, always between that time, 4 and 6.
Well, it's interesting because, first of all, I have had multiple people I've spoken to over the last couple of years, but especially in the last year, who talk about they dream between 4 and 6 in the morning. 4 and 7, 4 and 8 in the morning is dream time, and that is their deep sleep time. That, you know, they can go to bed at 11, they can go to bed at 12, they may go to sleep, but it's that tossing, turning, kind of light sleep, and they don't fall into that really deep sleep where they have the dreams until that 4 till 6, 4 till 8 o'clock in the morning block. And I've talked to probably 20, 30 people in the last year about exactly this.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I just have to wonder if that is our download time or whatever. because I have never experienced anything like that where I'm sitting here watching a series on Netflix and all of a sudden these images it's almost like they're trying to be forced. It's not forced, but how it just pops in there. And you know how you can instinctively tell you're dreaming, right? There's this instinct, and that is exactly what happened. Is that instinct came in, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be dreaming right now. And I would get a little image of like a person or a place or whatever. And if I would have been sleeping, I would have been able to focus more on it and see exactly the whole dream instead of just pieces like I did. But that was it. And yeah, my dream cycle or my sleep cycle is still just messed up. So I may go 48 hours without any sleep and then sleep 24 hours. Or I might just fall asleep at like 9 a.m. But I'm always awake by 2 if I do that. So you guys, I've never experienced anything like this. Totally freaky. And then the white orbs under, now they're gone now. I don't see those, but these white orbs that constantly just under my eyes, under them, not in my vision. But somebody also posted in the room about seeing the black orbs. And I've seen those like little black holes, black wormholes. Like that just open and then close. And it's like, what? It's been the biggest trip I've ever been on, guys. Seriously. And I do not do drugs. So, okay, that's all I needed to say. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Penny. Well, this is interesting what she brought up. Well, being awake and the feeling of dreaming coming into the mind. And Penny saying how she felt like this should be dreaming, or I should be dreaming. Has anyone else experienced it in the reverse, say, for example, you've been asleep, you've been dreaming, and you wake up and the dream continues, even though you've woken up? And I've had this happen, especially during 2013, I had it happen a fuck of a lot. Where I would, you got little kids, they wake up in the night, they're crying or they need a drink or something. And I would literally get up and I'd open my eyes and start walking. And it would be like a double vision where I'd be like seeing what's in front of me physically, but I would still see the dream as if it's still playing. And then you'd be like, okay, guys, like, have you not got the clue that I'm fucking awake? Can you pause just for a second?
Okay, Dee.
Now
we're at time. So I'm going to ask you, do you mind if we go over? Because there's something I want to bring up still.
Good. Yeah, I don't care if we go over. And I got something I want to bring up still. I had no idea we were this close to time because I'm not paying attention.
And also, Robert, in the chat room, if you want to come out and share, just put your hand up, okay? Because you're sending me a lot of private messages. So let me know if you do. Sorry, keep going.
No, that was just it. It's just this, but it's that same thing, and it's always at that time of the day, that time of the morning for me when it happens too. When I think about it, it's at 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning is when I wake up. In those time periods is where I've gotten up and you can go pee, and you can still see, and then it'll just pause, and then I'll get back to bed, and then it'll start going again. But I've multiple times. So, I get what Penny's saying. If it can happen on waking up and you still see the dream, if you're still awake and it's dream time now.
You're getting this whether you're awake or asleep.
You're getting it. That's right. Ouch.
All right, what else did you want to bring up then?
You go first. I'll close out the show with what I want to talk about for a second.
Okay. All right, complete change of subject.
Of course.
You can't get used to that, so it doesn't matter. If going on the premise that, you know, feelings that we've been having over the last few months are accurate, this is a construct. We're back in control of the construct, or at least in far more control of it than we ever have before, or for a long time. Then we are back in control of scripting our reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So Donna, Barbara, and I decided to play one day recently.
We
few days
talked
ago.
about this before we started the show, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, JJ came out and was like, because you were missing. And he was like, there was a post on LMH, and is this, did it actually happen? So he sent me the link, and I went and I was like, well, I haven't talked to Lisa in a couple of days. Pretty sure she will let me know. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's an intention, like setting an intent type thing. So go ahead.
But well, it was funny. I mean, we just decided to play and have fun with it. So we started writing about, okay, it's a Saturday afternoon, and we put the day, so it was Saturday. And there's a knock on my door, and I go to open the door, and Lilu's there, right? And simultaneously, there's a knock on Donna's door and one on Barbara's door and so. And we're just playing, we're just having fun writing this script together. And next thing you know, Lilu pops in with some input. And it's like, oh, okay. And it was Lilu, Moira, and another voice. Do you remember when there was a call where they pulled in like 6 or 8 people to kind of help with the block?
Yeah.
And used on one of the voices, they used the English accent.
Yeah. The brother, someone's brother, someone's.
No, it was a woman, female voice.
Oh, okay.
And so that was her, Moira, and Lulu. And they popped in with all these little one-liners every now and then to help us flush it out. Even at a point where Barbara wrote, Lily had something to say that she wanted to say to everybody. And at that point, she popped in with a line, right? So we had fun. But getting, there was a reason for me telling you that. Scripting reality. Right. If all of this is a construct and it's a programmed construct, I was trying to make sense of all the pieces that we've been told. So, construct is a virtual reality. We're not really here. Okay? It's just our consciousness that's here. There's just and we talk about home or outside the construct, whatever that is. And what if we never left? Because it's just an aspect of our consciousness, a fractal of us that's in here. But mind over matter, the whole point of the experience of the construct is to be so immersed in it, for it to feel so real. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
So if we never left, where did these memories come from of an invasion? What was the point of that? What was the talk, and why is there talk from so many groups, right? But even from the Lilu camp, why talk of coming and getting us in ships? Because there is nowhere to physically go. If there's nowhere to physically go, if this isn't real, you know,
we got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then where the fuck would I be going, right? And what I came to was it's simply a suggestion for the mind. So if this is a virtual reality and it was in fact taken over, hijacked, whatever, then all that's needed is a program, a new game plan, a new program put into it that makes us experience an invasion. So that something for the mind to wrap its head around, to believe in.
Yeah.
So whatever then,
That
so we
basically that invasion is part of the program.
Yes, it never actually happened because we aren't actually here. It's just a program. And for the same reason, there's all these talk of ships and ETs and all of that stuff, is because it would give us an event to wrap our minds around so that we can go from A to B. Because if a ship turns up, you get in a ship, you then get taken somewhere and you get out of the ship in somewhere that looks completely different.
Yep.
Your mind has gone through a process that it can handle, as opposed to just waking up in a completely different reality or watching this one just zip out.
No, I can see that.
They're just stories for the mind. And if the brain, the physical brain, is the transmitter receiver between this and the AI that runs the construct, right?
Oh. Keep going. Okay.
I don't know how to finish.
Throw this.
All I want to say.
I don't want to throw you off track, but the one thing we've seen in the Unfuckers Group, and it's been, it's been talked about for a couple of months, but now it's gotten to the point that there's almost a post every fucking day where someone goes out somewhere without a smartphone, without a tablet, there's no electronics around them, and buys something and comes back home and opens up their Facebook, and the first thing they see in their feed is the exact thing that they just went and bought.
They pay cash for it or with a credit card?
I have no idea. But things like people saying about having conversations with someone, having conversation with, say, the husband, and she says to the husband, you should go out and you should go pick up, or he says, I'm going to go out and pick up such and such. That's something for work for him. And she comes back home, I can't remember who told us, and said her fucking internet was full of ads for bathroom remodeling, which is what her husband.
I know. We talked about that in terms of it being how we're tracked, but what if it's not that at all?
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Okay, everything's becoming transparent. And you just said it. What if the brain is connected to the AI that runs the matrix? And everything is becoming transparent. And if all of a sudden everyone starts having basically things that are coming right out of their head showing up in front of them, either whether it's right at the moment, let's say it's in advertisements on Google or your Facebook or YouTube, etc. I don't know. It's just, is that just a piece of not just them reading your mind and altering ads to get you to buy shit, but what if is it a step farther and it is actually our minds connected to the artificial intelligence that runs this matrix, and it's literally becoming that transparent. In which case, let us all think about Unfucker Island right now. And if we get some ads for free Unfucker Islands they're giving away, we don't have a hot hit. Yes.
There's something, I do think that we literally have the ability to write the scripts. We always have, but of course got messed with a little bit. write them in. And writing it down seems to be really powerful.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many comments lately, why can't we just create a way out of here? And if we're such great creators and manifestors, why haven't we created a way out of here? A couple of reasons. One, I think we've overcomplicated it because we literally physically feel like we need this event to wrap our minds around. But there's been a lot of people, including myself, who can physically feel other realities right here. They're right here. And it's just that, you know, all of our senses have been narrowed down to, you know, zippy zip on the scale. That we can't see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, sense it, anything yet. You know, but it's right here. We never went anywhere. We never fucking left. The Matrix was not fiction. I'm sure it was a fucking documentary.
I'm going to call it idiocracy. That's what I'm going to call it now. Well, here, Lise, kind of further to that. So we've had a conversation going in the Unfuckers room for what, guys, since, I don't know if it started Friday or Saturday, about setting the intent, because we talked about it in last week's show. Setting that intent, and Stella Field put up a really, really good post about kind of basically everyone working on an intent, but coming together on something. And Steve posted that awesome piece of artwork that he did, Wake Up. The painting, just wake up. And I love the colors and the texture of it. And that started the conversation. I was like, okay, fine, fuck it, let's do this. Let's set an intent. And I think the first intent, everyone was like, let's do wake up. Basically, just wake up. All the world, just wake up. Wake up. Now, because the conversation started Friday, I think, and it ran through the weekend, and then on Sunday, we decided, okay, this is the day. We're going to set the intent, and I pinned a post up for everyone to put their comments into. Everyone could discuss how they wanted to do it. And it was like, if you want to meditate, great. You want to sing, you want to dance, you want to paint, you want to, whatever way strikes you as setting that intent, go for it. And they were great conversations. Interesting though, how many people between last night and like tonight now talked about people waking up around them. Conversations, like overhearing conversations, like from a bunch of teenagers talking about, oh yeah, but you know, people need to wake up, and yeah, I love conspiracy theories. My mom's all into that stuff too, and just people hearing things in coffee shops, and the buzzword that they kept hearing was wake up, through random conversations. So again, is it a matter of because you set the intent, you're now subconsciously listening for it? Or with that instant manifestation of like literally your intent is wake up, so therefore you're seeing it all around you.
I just bought a red car and now they're everywhere kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like it.
I mean, I know how crazy all this sounds to a lot of people, but it's what we do here apparently. The number of people who are feeling that there is another reality right here, right now, at least one, if not multiple. The number of people who are sensing or even seeing what they are calling ships in the sky, portals, stargates, whatever you want to call them, in the sky, but also in their bloody homes, in and around them. The number of people who are feeling who are just seeing all kinds of shit that they didn't see before.
Kale's been
message-
talking about portals all weekend.
Has he?
Yep. Kale wants a
The
portal.
old-
He's going to build a portal. When he gets older, he's going to build a teleportation device and a portal. And the story gets, like, as he thinks about it over the course of the weekend, it's gotten very, very elaborate now, just how it's going to work and how he's going to put it together. But that's all he's talked about all weekend.
The last 3 or 4 communications with Lulu have all been about, we're here. We are here, you know. I can't get, this feels so incredibly true to me in every part of my body that we never left. And it's just a virus of the mind. And if that's
Virus
the case,
of the mind.
if that's the case, just like in the Matrix, when Neo was offered a red pill or a blue pill, they were purely symbolic.
Exactly.
He wasn't physically given a pill to wake him up. He was symbolically given a pill to wake him up. And he woke up. So why couldn't we create our own symbolic wake-up mechanism, a placebo effect? Because if we believe it enough, it wouldn't be a red pill or a blue pill. It might be a rainbow pill. It might be something else completely, but...
A strawberry. If you eat a strawberry this week, that's it.
It's just something where our minds need to get around.
Yep.
Which is why placebos work in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if we get, I think this is why we've been fed a lot of this ET stuff as well, is because if they can get us to believe that we have been physically taken somewhere else, then what we have done is
create the belief that we have to be taken back.
We've consciously uploaded that program.
Yep.
And now we're in that whatever, you know. I think it's just something we need to give our minds to accept. I think that's the only thing that's stopping us from right now, from seeing, feeling, tasting, touching what is really right in front of us.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you guys? I don't think we do need a 100th monkey. I think this is like, I've been feeling
100th monkey.
This is an individual inside job. An inside job, yeah. That's my thinking. I mean, if we wanted to create something collectively that everybody would experience, yeah, we need a 100th monkey, we need a 51%.
For everyone, yeah.
But if enough of us have an experience individually, then it will become the collective experience. So what would it take? What would it take for you to believe your reality had changed, or you had gone home, or you had left the construct, or whatever the hell terminology you want to use, descriptive to use? What would it take? Could you literally convince yourself if you took a certain pill or drug or something, or would it need to be something you physically do?
See, experience. Why don't we think about that during the week and set that up for the Sunday intent type thing?
Everyone's got something different.
Yep.
But I think that's just how strong, whether it's our mind or whether it's the program, but the two are so interconnected, so enmeshed.
Yeah.
That and it's a two-way communication now. I think a lot of the, for a while there it was all one way. We were just getting fed. But now the feedback loop is back on, and was the whole concept of an event introduced into the collective so that we would create an event that we could believe in.
Yeah.
All right. We should go.
So
hang on. We've got Gina as well. Oh, you wanted to finish off.
I just need like a couple of moments.
You want to bring Gina out first?
You do, Gina. Pull out Gina.
Okay, Gina, you're unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, I was, I'm glad that you brought that up because I was debating saying something, and because I read what Barbara wrote and also listened to your interview with Michael Monk, and saw very much what you were talking about then touches on this, and I saw where you were going in that conversation with him, and I felt very strongly that that you're really onto something there, that it does kind of cover all the bases for the pieces of the story that we've been told, and it also kind of explains why we've been given the pieces that we have to kind of lead us to come up with the answers, because we have to wake ourselves up. They can't shake us awake. They can't do it for us. We have to do it, and they've literally been kind of taking our hands and excuse me, leading us to that point where we can come up with whatever that mechanism is. And I think you're right, it's individual.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone needs to have their own interpretation of that. Yeah. And I agree. I think something we should all work on and come back together and see where we've each gotten with it. Anyway, that's all I have to say, but thank you. And thanks for bringing that up, because it made the whole show for me. Thanks.
Nice. Thanks, Gina.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay. Yes. What would it be? I have to think about this. So my go-to answer is always the knock on the door, right? Which I've seen for fucking years and years. So is that my created, self-created, whatever storyline of my cue of like, wake up?
Oh, hang on. Maria, we tried to bring her out earlier. Can you just put your hand up so I can find you? Because that puts you at the top of the list and makes it a hell of a lot easier.
It's when you're scrolling through 200 and some odd people. Sometimes you need to put someone at the top of the list.
Maria, put your hand up for me. I'll try and find you.
Okay, well, listen, I'll chit-chat for 2 seconds, and if we find Maria, awesome. So I want to let everyone know that the Unfucker Gathering in Malta is absolutely happening. We have set a date. The date for the Unfucker Gathering in Malta is going to be May 19th to the 28th, 19th to 20th to the 28th. So it covers 2 weekends, because we've got several people who can make one weekend but not the other weekend of this year. I have already confirmed with Francis Elosio, who is the guy who I interviewed on the Origins Symposium, who did all the stuff about the Maltese temples. I have already asked him to take the Unfuckers on a tour of all the ancient temple sites in Malta, and he said he's absolutely thrilled to do it. He loves dealing with free-thinking people who he knows he's not going to have to completely educate from there to get him up to what he wants to talk about type stuff. So Francis is already booked on board. I'm also talking to another guy, his name, what's Peter's last name? Peter Shield, and he is an archaeologist. He's actually a rather famous archaeologist who just so happens to have retired to Gozo. And he has done a shitload of stuff about ancient aliens, about all of this type of stuff. And I'm talking to him right now to arrange for him to do a speaking engagement to come and speak to, and maybe do one of his famous slideshows, to go through all of his archaeological stuff. This guy's got some pretty interesting fucking stories to tell about some of the stuff that he's done. So yeah, if anyone is interested in attending, we are working on various, right now I just put a little thing in the room to talk about what kind of accommodations people are looking for, whether they want like really inexpensive simple guest house bed and breakfast versus really nice done up farmhouses with swimming pools and private yards and the whole bit. So we're trying to work things through once we have a better idea of how many people are coming. So yeah, the Unfucker Gathering in Malta, 2017, May 20th to 28th. If you're interested, just
On that note, Maria, I did find you. I'll bring out your. I'll unmute you in a sec. I'm in talks with a couple of people to actually do something similar, but more often. So maybe once a month.
Yep. Around
the country, in different places around the country. And this will be more of a presentation on one day, and then for those who just want to come and hear a presentation or a talk, but the whole event would go over a weekend, so there'll be different bits you can participate in. So I'm working on that right now, but we're looking at doing it as a monthly thing around the country in different places, and if there's a call for it, we can go outside the country. But
so in other words, what I saw just before I came to Australia, except that I'm not going to be there.
Well, you can be there via Zoom.
There you go. Yeah, well, I mean, this is it. There's going to be multiple Unfucker gatherings are being planned all over the States. There's at least 2 or 3 of them in Canada being planned. And what they've decided to do, I think, is to stagger them, so that if, maybe someone can go to the one in Northern California, and then maybe a couple of weeks later or a month later might be able to hit the one down in Arizona, or, so it looks like a lots of fun. There's lots of people getting right into it. So
having said that,
are gathering.
Having said that, I am simultaneously working on getting the hell out of here, so they may not happen. However, okay, Maria, where'd you go? You're unmuted.
Oh my God, am I okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, sorry, I've just been jumping up and down since the beginning. Like when we were talking about, it was Dani before Lisa came, we were talking about bits of the world relating to the body.
Yeah.
And I think I might have found, because I spent ages trying to look for it, then I went off into a rabbit hole. And I watched a YouTube video, and it talked about all the famous sites around the world, but I only remember one of them, and that was Stonehenge is connected to the heart.
As in, it's the heart chakra of the planet, or it's connected to our hearts?
It's connected to our hearts. And they had all the other ones, like when you see it on a map, it kind of they all interrelate to each other. And because I'm from England, I thought, oh, that's nice, that's the heart one. And yeah, so that's why I was jumping up and down. And there was loads of other stuff I got all excited about, and now, of course, it's all gone out of my mind because now I'm thinking about the gathering in 2017. Yay! No,
I know I said earlier that I was wondering whether it was what did I say? Human design, but I actually have a feeling it's the Mayan cosmology stuff. There is a map.
Okay.
There's a map. Because when you look at Mayan cosmology, there's also a form of healing that goes with all of that. It's huge. And there's a map on your hands, and there's a map that relates to the human body, to the planet, I'm sure. So for those who want to do some research on this, have a look in the Mayan cosmology stuff.
Okay.
There's diagrams lying around about the connection between the planet and the human body. I know there is.
Okay. Good. So we have a jump-off point. We have some jump-off points then.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have a little look at this video that I found, because I want to post something if it's completely wrong. So I'm going to check it, and then I'll post it in the group in a bit. Because I'm hoping that is the video, so that will be quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, why is it that you get so exciting just at the end? Like, it's coming up to 2 hours, and it's like, oh my god, another rabbit hole. It's like, wow, you know.
I'd have brought it up earlier, but I needed to wake up first.
Oh no, I did think of that, but yeah, no, it's really cool. Thank you.
Besides, it's the template of the show. The very end of the show. Boom! Here we go. We're gonna drop this on you.
I know. There is one thing I wanted to ask, because I've been putting my hand up on my phone, which obviously has been causing problems. How do I put my hand up on a PC? Does anybody know?
It should be bottom of the screen.
Bottom of the screen,
You'll see it'll say mute, stop video, invite participants, share screen, chat. Oh.
And then record.
Okay. Is it in the participants? Hold on. I'm using my wrong hand. Just go to the right hand. Okay, and now my mouse won't work. We can't ask Lisa because she's on a Mac, so that just doesn't help.
I've got start video, invite participants, share screen, chat, record, and leave meeting. That's all I have.
Why doesn't it have the? Oh, okay. So you go to where it says participants.
Yeah.
Click on the participants. At the very bottom of the list, it says mute me, and it says raise hand. It's in a really light blue color, and I don't have my glasses on. I didn't even see it until I actually looked at the very, very bottom. So right at the very bottom, it says on the participants section, it gives you the option to raise hand. And mute me, which must be a new feature.
Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. Oh, so now, hopefully, I'm not going to be nasty feedy backy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I can't wait. So exciting. Have a lovely day, everybody.
You too, darling. All right, Molly's coming too with her hand up. Hang on.
And I'm just about done, like I'm fading fast. So.
This is our last call. Molly, you're unmuted. Or at least I thought you were. Yeah, you are.
No, I don't see her as unmuted.
Oh, she's now.
It's, you know what? I was just going through the motions of raising my hand to make sure I knew how to do it.
She was practicing. She was practicing.
I was practicing for next time. No worries. I don't have any questions. You guys can end the show.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Everyone's got lots of homework. So I want photos. If you guys are seeing weird rainbows or things in the sky, we want photos. And
I need a fucking camera is what I need. I keep grabbing the kid's tablet and going, grabbing a tablet going, oh, it doesn't show up at all. Like nothing. So I fucking need a camera.
And that weird rippling thing that goes through the sky, I actually think that's an energy wave that's breaking, a new energy wave that's coming in, breaking things up. That's just mine. I don't feel like it's a negative.
I actually saw one of those last week, Lisa, in the house. I've never seen it inside before. I've seen them multiple times, like in the sky. I actually saw one out of my peripheral vision in the house. Just, and you go, and of course you can't see jack shit. but just right after my vision.
Did you? Oh God, we keep finding things to talk about. Did you read Trish's story in the UU room?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have, and it looked like, from what I can gather from the description, you guys would have all seen it probably. The lunar wave that Crow is famous for.
Yep.
That ball goes across the way. Well, imagine sitting in your backyard and you see one just go right across your vision. And then in that moment, or immediately after that moment, a Mandela effect happens.
Personal Mandela effect.
Personal Mandela effect. So you got stories like that? I want to hear about them too.
Oh yes, there's been a few of those recently. Trish, if we can have permission to print your story, put it in the article, because it was pretty fucking amazing. I would really like to put that out there. So I'll send Trish a message right now. Send Trish a message.
And we will post the chat with this one, promise.
Yep.
All right, guys. Sorry for being late, but I made up for it by hanging around for an extra half an hour.
There you go.
So, thank you. See you tomorrow for LMH members.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.